In the heart of a city that raced towards the future, there was a small shop, a relic from a bygone era. This was Arthur's world, a sanctuary filled with the clicks, clacks, and dings of old typewriters. He was a master of his craft, a man who could breathe life back into rusted levers and jammed keys. People from all over brought him their tired machines, their family heirlooms, their forgotten stories waiting to be typed. Arthur would hunch over his workbench, his brow furrowed in concentration, his hands, stained with ink and oil, moving with a surgeon's precision. He could fix anything: a sticky E, a stubborn carriage return, a ribbon that refused to advance. Each machine he repaired was a puzzle solved, a voice restored. His customers would leave with smiles, their precious typewriters clutched in their arms, ready to once again turn thoughts into tangible words. But there was one machine Arthur never touched. It sat in the corner of his shop, shrouded in a dusty cloth, a silent sentinel. It was a sleek, black Royal, the kind poets and dreamers favored. It wasn't broken. In fact, it was in perfect condition. This typewriter belonged to him, a gift from Eleanor, whose laughter was like the bright, clear bell of a carriage return, whose memory was a story he couldn't bring himself to write. For all the words he helped others put on paper, his own were trapped inside him, a jumble of unsaid things, a lifetime of love and regret. Every day, he would fix the broken keys for strangers, meticulously aligning the metal arms so they would strike true. Yet, the words he needed to say to her, the most important words of all, remained stuck, like keys hopelessly jammed together. Years ago, this shop had been their shared dream. Eleanor was the writer, the one who painted worlds with words. Arthur was the mechanic, the one who made sure her tools never failed her. "You fix the letters, I'll give them meaning," she used to say, her eyes sparkling with mischief. They were a perfect pair, like a well-oiled machine. She would sit at that black Royal typewriter, her fingers flying across the keyboard, lost in her stories. Arthur would watch her, his heart swelling with a quiet, profound love. He loved the way she'd eat you on her lip when she was searching for the right word, the triumphant little smile when she found it. He thought they had all the time in the world to build their life, page by page. But life, unlike a story, doesn't always have a neat and tidy plot. One rainy afternoon, Eleanor fell ill. It was Sue then, a cruel twist of fate that no one saw coming. The vibrant storyteller grew quiet, her world shrinking to the sterile white walls of a hospital room. Arthur spent every moment by her side, holding her hand, his mind a frantic mess of fear and hope. He wanted to tell her everything, how she was his anchor, his muse, his entire world. He wanted to fill a library with love letters, to shout from the rooftops how much she meant to him. But the words wouldn't come. They caught in his throat, heavy and useless. He, the man who could make any machine speak, was rendered mute. He thought he'd have more time. He thought there would be a tomorrow where he could finally say it all. But tomorrow never came for her. After she was gone, the shop became his refuge and his prison. The smell of ink and old paper, once a scent of comfort, now carried a tinge of sorrow. The rhythmic clatter of typewriters was a constant reminder of the words she was no longer writing, and the words he had failed to speak. The black Royal in the corner was a monument to his silence. He couldn't bear to look at it, let alone touch it. It was too full of her, of their shared dreams, of his own crippling regret. So he poured all his energy into other people's machines. A father's old Underwood, a student's first Olympia, a journalist's trusty Smith. He mended their broken connections to the written word, perhaps as a way to atone for his own broken communication. Each fixed key was a small penance. One crisp autumn morning, a young woman walked into his shop. She had bright, curious eyes and a nervous energy about her. She was clutching a worn, leather-bound journal. "I was told you're the best," she began, her voice a little shaky. "My grandmother. She passed away recently. She left me this." She opened the journal. It was filled with beautiful, looping handwriting, but on the last few pages, the writing devolved into shaky, almost illegible scrawls. She had a tremor in her hands towards the end, the young woman explained, tears welling in her eyes. She wanted to finish her story. For me, but she couldn't. "I was hoping maybe you could help me decipher these last words." Arthur looked at the journal. He saw the struggle in those faded, trembling lines. He saw the love, the desperate need to communicate something important before it was too late. It was a feeling he knew all too well. He took the journal and spent the entire day hunched over it, not with his usual tools, but with a magnifying glass and a heavy heart. He pieced together the fragmented sentences, deciphering the shaky letters one by one. It was a letter to her granddaughter, a final message of love, advice, and farewell. It was everything the grandmother wanted to say but couldn't physically write. It was everything Arthur wished he had said to Eleanor. As he read the decoded words aloud to the young woman, her tears of sadness turned into tears of gratitude and understanding. Seeing the relief and closure on the young woman's face sparked something in Arthur. He had helped someone else find the words they were missing. Maybe it was time to find his own. That evening, after the last customer had gone and the city lights began to twinkle outside his window, Arthur walked over to the corner of his shop. He slowly, reverently, pulled the cloth off the black Royal typewriter. Its keys gleamed under the dim light of his workbench lamp, silent and waiting. His hands trembled as he sat down in the old wooden chair, the same chair where Eleanor had spent countless hours creating her worlds. He took a deep breath, the scent of dust and memory filling his lungs. He rolled a fresh sheet of paper into the machine. The crisp sound echoed in the quiet shop. His fingers hovered over the keys, uncertain for the first time in a long time. What could he possibly say now? How could he capture a lifetime of love on a single page? He closed his eyes, and he saw her. He saw her smile, heard her laugh, felt the warmth of her hand in his. And then he began to type. The first keystroke was loud, hesitant. Clack, then another. Clack, clack. Soon, a rhythm emerged, a slow, deliberate melody of metal on paper. He wasn't fixing a machine anymore. He was fixing himself. He wrote about their first meeting, about the dreams they shared, about the quiet moments that meant the most. He wrote about his regret, his silence, his unending love. He wrote until the sun began to rise, filling the shop with a soft, hopeful light. The page was filled with words, some clumsy, some beautiful, all of them true. The keys were no longer stuck, and for the first time in a very long time, Arthur felt a sense of peace. He had finally repaired the most broken thing in his shop, his own silent heart. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.